Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 82 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison of the aforementioned Membership Guys, and this is the show where we dispense proven practical tips and advice for growing a successful membership website. In today's episode, I want to talk about loyalty. Loyalty and engagement and the way in which people interact with your membership, use your membership, and the nuances of loyalty. Now, this is probably a little bit of a strange episode. I'm kind of just riffing on this. And this is based on a few conversations that I've had at recent events that I attended and have spoken at about different situations outside of the membership sphere that really kind of make you think about the notion of loyalty, of member loyalty, and the assumptions that we as membership site owners may make about it, but also about engagement and how the level of engagement that a member has with your membership actually affects their experience and how engaged somebody actually needs to be overall in order to get value from your membership. Now, I recently spoke at an event up in Scotland about whether or not you should start a membership site in 2017. And at the post-event drinks, for some reason, the conversation turned to hairdressers, haircuts, and barbers. I have no idea how we ended up at that particular topic, but we ended up there. And this almost turned into a bit of a discussion about loyalty, about the fact that with barbers and with hairdressers, when you find one that you're comfortable with, that you're confident will do a good job or do a job to your satisfaction, that you're familiar with, you'll stick with them for years and years typically. And often, even if you move house or situations change, you'll travel that extra mile in order to go back and use that trusted barber who you're loyal to. And it's a funny thing because doing that, going out of your way to return to a business that you frequent, going out of your way, being willing to travel further to only use this barber. I mean, even getting to a point where if they're closed for whatever reason, delaying your appointment or coming back at another time rather than using a different barber or a different hairdresser. And that's the sort of stuff that people do, and it's something that I do. But the funny thing is, if I walked into my barber shop with you tomorrow, and you asked them if they've ever cut my hair, they wouldn't know me from Adam. I've been using the same barber for probably about 10 years. But I'm probably a little bit lax on how often I go. I don't go quite as often as I should. And so, it's not a every 2 or 3 weeks kind of thing where they're seeing so much of me that I become a familiar face. And I'm one of those odd people where I don't like talking to my barber because I want them to concentrate on cutting my hair. Now that has very little relevance in terms of memberships, but it informs the story. So there's not really ever any dialogue beyond pleasantries and saying good morning and all that sort of stuff. So there's no conversation taking place through which they get to know me or I get to know them. I don't even know the names of the guys who frequently cut my hair. And yet, when I moved house up here in the northeast of England, I've travelled out of my way and passed numerous other options in order to go back to that barbershop. Not because they do a particularly great job. They do a fine job, but, I have a pretty unfussy haircut. Not because the ambience is particularly special. They just have a radio. It's quite a small place. The seats aren't especially comfortable. I'm just familiar with them. And it's more hassle for me to find somewhere else, to risk them messing up, cutting my hair, to risk ending up in a situation where they, force conversation on you. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. You would say that I'm loyal, but actually, it's an odd situation because, as we said, that loyalty doesn't come with any kind of recognition, doesn't come with any relationship. There's no, reason for me to be attached to them other than habit and convenience. And when it comes to memberships, to bring it round for those of you who are wondering why I'm talking about barbers and getting your hair cut, often as membership site owners, we confuse inertia with loyalty. We confuse the fact that people are sticking around and continue paying us for them actually being loyal and enjoying their member experience, when quite often that's not the case. So as membership site owners, we can't take for granted the fact that someone doesn't complain, that they still log into your website, they're still engaged, they're still using your site, they haven't cancelled, they continue paying. That doesn't always mean that you have a loyal member on your hands. Inertia is very, very different from loyalty. That continuing on of the relationship, of the subscription, purely because it's habit, because you're accustomed to it, because the drive to cancel or to make a change isn't yet strong enough to actually cause you to take that action. But equally, they're not so compelled and so connected and so passionate about your membership that they would actually consider themselves a loyal member or a loyal customer. And the truth is, there have been times where I've actually spotted new barber shops that have opened a little closer to our home that actually look like they'd be nicer places to go, that are more convenient, that have better parking, that seem to have friendlier staff, that have more staff, and that don't have as odd an opening time schedule as the guys I typically use. And it's only a matter of time before I try these guys out. And if I do, it's not really going to take much for me to be swayed from that old, trusty, reliable barbers over to a new one. All they have to do is kind of not screw it up. So think about that in terms of your membership site, in terms of member loyalty. Do you have members whose subscriptions are continuing on because they're loyal, or is it because they're just in a habit? They just haven't cancelled yet. So this is why it's important that you don't take for granted and you don't only focus on the people who are complaining, the people who are threatening to cancel or contacting you, asking about cancelling and all that sort of stuff. You need to make sure that you're taking the time to look at the activity of the members who you would typically assume are loyal, are happy. You need to engage with them. You need to seek feedback from them. You need to try and spark that connection, spark that conversation, get a dialogue going so you can understand a little bit more about why they continue to be a member of your website. So it's just a quick one from me today, something to think on, a little bit different for the Membership Guys podcast, but hopefully it's something that's resonated with you. Hopefully it's got you thinking about member loyalty and engagement and how all of that sort of stuff ties together. That's it from me for this week. I'll be back again very soon with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.